Welcome all to the Nameless channel. Please like and subscribe. And as always, enjoy the story. Picture this: a quaint, idyllic small town nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, where time seems to slow down and people know each other by name. It was to this picturesque setting that Jacob, a city dweller seeking solace from the buzz of urban life, decided to relocate. What he didn't realize, however, was that this serene town harbored a chilling secret, a legend that would soon blur the lines between myth and reality. As Jacob settled into his new home, he began to notice an intriguing but strange story circulating among the townsfolk. They whispered about the phantom stranger, an enigma that had haunted the town for generations. This elusive figure was said to stalk the town's residents, his presence marked by the sound of footsteps echoing ominously in the dead of night. Yet, curiously, he could only be seen in reflections or captured fleetingly in photographs. Initially dismissive of such tales as mere superstition, Jacob found himself growing increasingly curious. He decided to dig deeper into the stories after a neighbor, an elderly woman with a knowing look in her eyes, recounted her own spine-tingling encounter with the phantom. Her voice trembled as she described hearing slow, deliberate footsteps following her along a deserted path, only to catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure in the reflection of a shop window. Intrigued, yet still skeptical, Jacob sought out more stories. He learned that those who had experienced the phantom's presence reported feeling an intense, chilling dread, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. The stranger was never seen directly. Instead, he appeared in reflective surfaces, a ghostly silhouette that vanished as quickly as it came. Despite these tales, Jacob remained unconvinced until one fateful night changed everything. As the last few attendees trickled out of the conference room, he glanced at his watch and winced. It was late, much later than he had anticipated. With the echo of polite goodbyes fading into the cool night air, he stepped out onto the deserted streets, his suit jacket providing little warmth against the evening chill. The town, usually abuzz with life and color, now seemed dimly lit and unsettlingly quiet, each building shadowed in the moonlight, as if absorbing the very energy of the day into its silent facade. The path home was a familiar one, yet tonight it seemed somehow foreign, each step amplifying the isolation that accompanied him. The rhythmic scuff of his shoes against the pavement was almost comforting in its consistency, a metronome keeping time with his thoughts, which danced between the day's negotiations and tomorrow's agenda. Jacob turned a corner, entering a narrower street lined with trees that whispered in the gentle breeze, their leaves rustling softly, filling the space with a sense of life that belied the solitude of the moment. Then, subtly at first, another sound began to layer itself under the noise of his footsteps. A second set, so perfectly in sync with his own that it was almost imperceptible, like a shadow of sound whispering from the darkness behind him. His heart quickened. He paused briefly, then shook his head with a self-deprecating smile. Just paranoia, he told himself, a residue of the long day that had overstayed its welcome in his mind. Yet the sensation lingered, the uncanny feeling of being tailed by something or someone unseen. The streetlights flickered, casting a ghostly glow across the storefronts, their windows like dark, polished mirrors. As Jacob passed one such store, an enigmatic impulse urged him to glance sideways. There, in the glass, barely distinguishable from the play of shadows and light, was a shadowy figure, unmistakably human yet oddly ethereal, just behind him in the glass. Startled, he spun around, his eyes darting along the length of the street. Nothing, just emptiness, the silence stretching like a taut wire, ready to snap. He hesitated, listening intently, but the only sound was the distant hum of the city, a low, comforting murmur that seemed suddenly remote. Despite the empty street, a shiver crawled up his spine. The encounter shook him to his core, forcing him to reconsider the legend with newfound respect. Determined to understand, Jacob delved into the town's archives, poring over old records and photographs. He uncovered a history of sightings dating back decades, each one eerily similar in detail. But why, he wondered, did the phantom choose to appear in this manner? Was it a warning, a restless spirit seeking acknowledgement? Jacob's perception of the town had shifted dramatically. No longer a simple retreat from city life, it had become a place of mystery, where the past and present intertwined through stories that whispered of the unexplainable. He realized that the phantom stranger was not just an eerie tale spun to entertain or frighten, but a living, breathing part of the town's identity. In the end, Jacob accepted that some mysteries were not meant to be solved. Instead, he chose to coexist with the legend, embracing the town and its ghostly inhabitant as a part of his new life. He learned to heed the footsteps as he walked alone and caught sight of the phantom's silhouette in reflective surfaces with quiet acknowledgement. Though unnerving, Jacob found an odd comfort in the phantom's presence, a reminder of the unseen layers beneath the surface of everyday life. The townspeople, too, carried on, their lives interwoven with the legend that defined their community's unique charm. Thank you all for listening to tonight's story. Let us know in the comments about any urban legends in your hometown. Please enjoy another video and have a spooky night.